Namaste and welcome to one and all. Today I thought of taking up a topic with all of you, which is pretty common and it still is a fearsome one for most teachers. Can you guess what I'm talking about? Well, I'm Roma Joshi, an academician with 35 plus years of experience in the education industry, and I have trained teachers across India. I have worn the different hats of a teacher and a coordinator and a principal, and currently I am engaged in making online courses for teachers and for students. So coming back to the topic, well, the topic that I want to address today is classroom management. Yes, managing a classroom with students, especially in today's times, seems to be a hurdle for most teachers. Now, it is not that the teachers are not skilled enough. It is not that the students are notorious, but well, there is some gap which we need to fill. And I'm just going to take you through what I did in one of the schools where I conducted a workshop quite some time back, and how I motivated the teachers to realize what they need to do in order to manage their classrooms in a very effective way. So without wasting much of your time, let me take you through what happened in those days that I was there in that particular school for this workshop. Let's look at a few glimpses of that particular one. What comes to your mind when you see this image? Well, you know what comes to my mind? It's such a dull, boring, typical class where there is so much of control, there is so much of stiffness, and it just appears to be a lifeless room, doesn't it? Well, now let me show you another image and let us see what this one has to tell us. Just the opposite, isn't it? So much of life, so much of energy, so much of fun, so much of involvement of the students. So when you compare these two classrooms, what type of classroom would you want as a teacher? The first one or the second one? Do let me know in the comment box, right? Let's move on. Like I told you, there was a particular school where I conducted this teacher workshop on classroom management. This was quite some time back, and like I said, even today there are teachers and there are schools who struggle to understand how to manage their classrooms. Well, I'm going to take you through a few glimpses of this workshop, and I'm sure by the end of this video, you yourself will understand what you need to do as a teacher to manage your classroom effectively. So let's get started, friends. Well, I started with a very interesting game for all the teachers who were present there. It was called the 9-dot game. I'm sure most of you are familiar with this particular game. And it kick-started the session so beautifully because they all got involved and they all were brainstorming, of course individually, to crack this 9-dot game. After this, I went into explaining what classroom management is all about, just a gist, and talk to them about the 5 dimensions of classroom management. Now, while talking to them about these 5 dimensions, what happened is I also mentioned the factor which is very important, and that is attitude. So their attitude as teachers towards the students, their attitude towards the classroom itself, their attitude towards the behavior and how the students emoted themselves in class, all these play a very important role in classroom management. Don't you agree with me? Well, after that, it was time for activity again. So they had an activity where they had to crack this particular problem, and you know what? Actually, it was not only critical thinking. There was a lot of creativity also involved because they had to find out how they were going to move from one ring to another with the instructions that were given to them. So they all were busy talking in their groups, planning in their teams, because of course there was a reward for the best team that performed in this. And they got so involved, they did not even realize where the time passed by. And I had to keep telling them, look, watch your step, be careful, don't trip, otherwise it's going to be a big hazard for everybody, during that particular session. But let me tell you, the teachers were just in their element when they came out to have this activity played viral. After that, we had some serious stuff, not so serious because it was a group discussion. They were sitting in groups, they had their topics to discuss and they had to prepare for a presentation, which they of course did. But you know what their expressions were when they were sitting in this session? I'll show you. This was their expression. All of them, of course this is a different room that they were sitting in later on for some time before we started with the presentations, and they were all very happy to be there. This was when we had the presentation and every team had to present their topic. Now you can see in the other picture that they have their chart ready because that's what we had given them as materials, resources, and they have done an excellent job, I would say, because they were so well organized. So every member has participated, not that just one person is holding the chart and one person is talking. No, everybody participated. And after the presentation, what do you think happened? This is what happened. It was reward time for all the teachers by the principal herself, and she gave away a small token of appreciation to every teacher for having participated so well. Entire session was done so beautifully and they were all such wonderful participants. So isn't it great when your students are so involved and they participate 100%, they give their 100%, I would say, into whatever you're asking them to do. That is where you don't need to bother about how to manage them. Well friends, I think I have run you through a brief of what I actually did on that particular day as a classroom management system. And what I want from all of you after watching this video is, please do think of what I have taken you through and let us see if you can now come up with, I would say, a few points as to how you intend to manage your class. I think there is a lot of takeaway from this. I'm not going to reveal it to you. I want you to think. I want you to participate. I want you to give your comments and share what is it that you have learned or what is your takeaway from this video, and how are you going to now plan your classrooms so that you don't have to manage them, but you have to be with your students and let the learning happen naturally. Well, that is it from my end. So I hope you enjoyed the video and I will see you in my next video very shortly. Namaste. Well friends, so what do you think you could make out from this particular video that I have shared with you? Isn't it so simple to involve your students in your class, involve them in such a way that they don't even realize where the time has passed by? And this is exactly what I did with the teachers in this particular school, and they all learned by doing. So it is absolutely easy, teachers, to engage your students if you have the right techniques and the right mindset, I would say, and keep them so busy with what you have to teach them or what you want them to learn that there is no room for digressing or getting diverted. I hope you all have enjoyed whatever I have shared with you. I will be back with many more such videos with different topics that keep creeping up in the minds of teachers, and sometimes they find it difficult to find solutions. So don't worry, I will definitely be there to offer solutions for all of you. Thank you.